Well, that didn't go like I thought it would. Hey everyone, it's Neil here from Post to Post. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you. What just happened? We had a sweep earlier on this, I guess it was on the weekend, and now the Jets sweep the Oilers in an incredible third OT goal. Like, what's going on? This is a strange year. I know there are sweeps almost every year, and that is normal. But it's just, and I think maybe even the Colorado St. Louis one could be considered normal. I don't know if this one's normal because it is so strange. But it's a really good example of the difference between playoff hockey and regular season hockey. Overall, Winnipeg had an okay season, but in the last 2 months of the season, Winnipeg looked terrible. Throughout the entire year, Edmonton actually looked really good. They didn't look like the team that people criticized before for not being deep or not having contributions past the second line. They actually did get some depth offense and played well defensively. And Smith played good. And everything just completely flipped and swapped in the playoffs. Edmonton looked, I mean, they looked okay at the beginning of the series, but in the last half of the series, they looked terrible. And Smith, again, played decent in the beginning of the series, but then looked not great at the end of the series. So it's very frustrating. I can't even imagine I'm a Canadiens fan. I have my own frustrations, okay? But as an Edmonton Oilers fan, I would be extremely frustrated. But this all goes back to not just myself, but what a lot of people said prior to the season starting. I don't even think I had Edmonton making the playoffs. I had them outside of the playoffs, and I got criticized heavily for that. And maybe rightfully so. I mean, look where they landed. But still, all of the criticism I gave for the Edmonton Oilers is exactly what happened in the playoffs. And I can understand how Edmonton fans want to defend their team and argue certain good positive points, and they feel people go overboard, and maybe I do sometimes with Edmonton. And that's totally fine. But it's the fans that say, we are deep. We are a deep team. We are going to win the Stanley Cup. We don't really have any issues on our team. This is a deep team. This is a team that's going to go to the Stanley Cup final. And it's great to believe in your team. It really is. I'm jealous that I don't have that feeling towards my favorite team. But that is biased. And it is just not true. The Edmonton Oilers factually are just not a deep enough team. It's a team not built to win the Stanley Cup. And that sucks because I would love to see Edmonton go to the finals. I would love to see Darnell Nurse and Draisaitl and see Smith possibly, finally get to the big dance and see what he can do. But that's just not the case, guys. Like it's just fact. It's factual. Like Edmonton is just not built to win the Stanley Cup. At least not in today's world. They had a great regular season, but regular season hockey is different than playoff hockey. That is true for the Edmonton Oilers, and that is true for the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg looked really good in basically all of the games, and not only did they look good, but they showed resilience. And that is a very key factor in the playoffs. When you're down and you have that ability to come back, that's huge. And like that, there's going to be those games in playoff hockey where that has to happen. You're down and you have to come back, battle, and win. And that pushes you forward in the series, maybe to the next round. Those are big games. Winnipeg was able to do that. Edmonton wasn't. So I'm going to compare some of their stats. Most of this is meaningless, but still, let's go through it. So in this series of the 4 games, Winnipeg scored 14 goals. Edmonton only scored 8. That's kind of unacceptable. Goals against, obviously, it's flopped. Winnipeg had 8 goals against. Winnipeg had 8 goals against. Edmonton had 14. Power play. Who had the best power play in the regular season? The Edmonton Oilers. I think it was around 26 or 27%. 18.2. Basically 10% less. Winnipeg's power play, 30%. Winnipeg was 30% on the power play. Unbelievable. So if we flop that, obviously, Winnipeg was 81.8 on the penalty kill, and Edmonton was only 70%, not good. Now, shots for per game, this is a little skewed because there was overtime games, but Winnipeg 34.5 shots per game average, and Edmonton 39.8. That's not really a shocker there. Edmonton is obviously quite front-loaded offensively, and they're going to take a lot of shots. So that's not really a shock. But Connor McDavid had 4 points. Leon Draisaitl had 5 points. So Draisaitl actually got more than McDavid. But what kind of player is McDavid? Well, let's look at the regular season. 105 points in 56 games. That's basically 2 points a game. It's like 1.88 goals per game or whatever it is. Draisaitl, I think he had 84 points in 56 games or something, 88 points or something around there. Obviously, these two players are almost on a 2 points per game trend. Well, Draisaitl had 5 and 8, and McDavid had 4 and 8. And that just, there's no correlation between regular season hockey and playoff hockey. Winnipeg did a good job of shutting down McDavid, frustrating him, and Draisaitl. And it just seemed like he just didn't have the space that he normally has out there. And I can see how frustrating that is as Edmonton fans. And I know there's going to be arguments in the comments section, and I've already seen them on Twitter and everywhere. It was the refs' fault. The refs, they didn't call enough, and they didn't give us enough power plays. Guys, you had lots of power plays. Your power play wasn't that great. It was like 18.2% or whatever I said it was. It just wasn't good. You had opportunities, and it just didn't correlate to the regular season power play. It's just simple fact. But I agree, the refs absolutely missed calls in Edmonton's favor. I 100% agree. But they also missed calls in Winnipeg's favor as well. Now, every game was a little bit different, but you can't blame the refs. If you had a power play that was running 40%, okay, and it was unbelievable, and you could argue there were so many missed calls, why didn't they give us the opportunity to get more, have more opportunities on the power play? We could have won then. Hey, maybe that's true, but your power play wasn't at 40%. It was at 18.2, which is not great. So you can't blame the refs for not giving you enough power plays so you could win the game. That's not how it works. If you want to win, you sure as hell better win on 5-on-5, because you can't rely on special teams, penalty kill or power play. You need to be a good 5-on-5 team. I don't think Edmonton really is that great of a 5-on-5 team in these playoffs. Decent in the regular season, not in the playoffs. That's really what it comes down to. And it's frustrating. Like, I'm not really a Winnipeg fan. I like them more than Edmonton. I'm not really an Edmonton fan. But I want to see both teams do good. I want Edmonton to get that damn monkey off their back. Like, I love to see them go to almost get to the third round, or get to the third round, or the Stanley Cup final, obviously. I want to see that. As a Canadian, it would be nice to see them in the finals, or even the conference finals. I would cheer hard for them, as long as they're not playing one of my favorite teams, or possibly my favorite team, the Canadians, depending on how it worked out. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to bash the Edmonton Oilers. I think they have a lot of positives. But I think I'm being completely objective and unbiased, and I think I'm being fair when I say that they're just not built to win a Stanley Cup. And I don't know how Edmonton Oilers fans can argue that. And I think that's what's frustrating to me, is because if maybe you're an Oilers fan, and you look at, my team's the Montreal Canadiens, and you say, Neil, the Montreal Canadiens are not built to win the Stanley Cup. And I'd be like, yeah, I almost swore. Like, no crap. Like, duh. I'd be the first one to tell you that. I'm the opposite. I am not biased. I'm the opposite of that. I am too critical of my own team. I have a problem complimenting my own team. So I understand there's different variations of fans. And maybe there is no wrong or right, but I personally believe the Edmonton Oilers are not built to win a Stanley Cup. Now, the Winnipeg Jets. It's exactly what I was hoping that the Jets would be. Not what I expected. I wasn't expecting this from the Jets. I thought the Edmonton Oilers would win the series. I predicted them to win. But I was hoping that the Winnipeg Jets would show up, because on paper, this team is built very good. Like, this is a team that's built to go deep in the playoffs. They proved that the other year. They went to the conference finals. And this team has a lot of potential. Didn't show it in the regular season. They looked really good in these playoffs. Obviously, that's going to change a little bit when they play the next opponent. There's going to be a really different style of hockey to match up against. But you got Kyle Connor, who played amazing. Blake Wheeler was awesome. Connor Hellebuck was great. The whole team really came together. Morrissey was great. Like, the whole team really came together, and I'm really happy for them. I'm really happy for them. I thought they played good. I love the fact that they came back in that game and showed a lot of resilience. That was fantastic. And I feel like on the other side, I feel bad. I feel bad for Darnell Nurse, who basically spent his entire life on the ice and was barely on the bench. The guy played his heart out, but they lost, and it sucks. So I think at least I hope there's some changes in the offseason for Edmonton. I don't care if it's management. I don't care if it's coaching. I don't care if it's players. There's got to be change. You can't come back with this lineup and make just a couple of small tweaks and expect deep long-term success. Like there needs to be drastic change, I think, in Edmonton. And I don't mean it that I don't mean that to sound like I want McDavid to leave and more people to come in. I don't want that. I think you build around McDavid and try your hardest to get depth. You just don't have the right pieces. And there's chemistry issues as well, I think. So, and then there's coaching issues, in my opinion, switching up the lines and just, I don't know, it's messy. If I could describe it in one word, it's messy in Edmonton. So again, a little shocked. Got that prediction wrong. It's okay. I'm happy for Winnipeg. Would have been happy either way. They're both Canadian teams. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. See this box in the background this entire video? There's a jersey in here. A jersey that I've been looking for basically a year for, with a matching hat. And I finally found it on sale. And I can't wait to add it to my collection. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell as well, because I'm going to be unboxing this really soon on the channel. It is very close to completing a collection for this team. And I'm pretty pumped to open it, guys. I'm super pumped. So we'd love it if you could join me for that video. Hope you guys are having a really good day. Hope you're watching hockey tonight. I definitely will be. And I'll talk to you soon. Adios.